Exactly about 10 months ago, we showed you what was the experience of our first condo buyers in Belize. If you haven't seen that video, it will be in the descriptions below. Now, we are showing you what is the latest experience for one of our most recent condo buyers. Apart from that, we're sharing a bit of first-hand information about Sapphire Beach Resort and what they think of the resort and why they invested in this complex.
So we are here with another Belize successful story, and this one was part of the Sapphire Beach Resort. We are here with Mr. Martin and Miss Missy. They have decided to make Sapphire Beach their second home, their home away from home, right, guys?
Right?
Right?
Tell us a little bit more about yourself, and a lot of people come to Belize and choose to make Belize their second home. Tell us a bit about what were your reasons, and how often, from how long you guys have been coming to Belize for.
Well, we've been coming for probably 10 years. We started coming on cruise ships, so Harvest Key and like Belize City, where you tender in, and fell in love with the weather. Um, uh, After that, probably about 2019 is when we first came to Ambergris Key. Fell in love with the local vibe, the feel. Very much like how I grew up in a small town, so it resonated with us a lot. The people were fantastic. Like the friendliness of the people. Once you start to vacation here, you get that feeling. After that, we investigated the process of buying in the Caribbean, and again, let us Ambergris Key, Belize. It's part of the British Commonwealth. We're from Canada. There was some easier processes there for an expat to be able to buy land here, as well as English speaking. That was a big factor. We were married in Mexico, and I knew what having translation of documents entailed, and English speaking was huge. And then ultimately the price. If you want to be on the ocean in the Caribbean Sea, there's only a finite amount of real estate, and to get in the price point where we could get in, this is the up and coming area. So those are the three things that led us here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so overall in Belize, that was what led you to Belize. Give us a little backstory on how you ended up here at Sapphire Beach.
That was, we love the
A lot of
town.
research.
Yeah, it was a lot of research. We love the town. We wanted to be a little bit off the beaten path, for our first adventure here and get out of the hustle and bustle of town. In context to where we're from in Canada, we're 9 miles north. 9 miles is less than a trip to our doctor's office. So it's not it's a different concept of distance. I know you're doing in golf carts, but the road has been getting better. So the trip up here is really what we get away from the hustle and bustle. Everything we need is within town, and as you know, everything is migrating up this way. There's more grocery stores, a gas station going in. Just our area here at Sapphire, there's been 2 stores open up since February. So things are getting more and more convenient. So it was a good decision to be this far up.
Absolutely. And I remember when you first reached out to us, you had told me that you've been keeping an eye on Sapphire Beach for a while. Could you give us your first-hand experience as to the turnaround that you've seen for a resort like this? First of all, starting off with the prices back then, they were definitely
Yes.
not what they are now.
Yes.
And just overall, the quality of the condo complex. Give us a bit backdrop on that.
Absolutely. I'll answer this again because
Sure.
you weren't here the first time. But the first time I came, this is a funny story because the first time I came up here, we were trying to remember, probably around 2019-ish, where I first saw this place, and we actually ate in the restaurant. Um, the people I was with, I actually remember saying that this is a place I would never invest in. It was a completely different property. Fast forward, a year or two after that, I started coming up. I started to see these slow improvements. We were always passing through, going up north, And then, up to when, I started really getting interested in buying here is the amount of effort and upgrades that have gone on. And when I first was here, the thatch roofs that are no longer here were falling apart. The paint was brown. The property itself was in less repair state, more disrepair than it is now. And everything has changed within the last 3 years. The property, the painting, the roofs are all new. The attitude of the HOA for improvements is there, and that's what you need if you're going to invest, you want to be in a place that's on that type of trend as opposed to a place that's on
A
a
downward trend.
downward trend. Yes.
And the staff is very friendly, always willing to help if we have any questions.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And for you, Miss Missy, I know you're here with Mr. Martin. How does it feel being this far out of town? Do you sometimes feel like you would like to be closer to town, or are there things that you find yourself lacking being up here?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
At first I thought I would, but the more stores that come up around the area, we can go get vegetables and odds and ends. So I don't feel a need to go to town all that often.
All that often.
Like maybe once a month to get essentials and hang out with friends. But other than that, we're content up here.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
we're going into town once a week right
Yeah.
now because we're still fresh into our unit. So there's always something you find that you have to go to one of the hardware stores
Stores.
for, or to Captain Shark's,
Yeah.
but once we're settled, we're realizing that, those trips into town for the big shops, maybe
Yeah.
hitting Caribbean Chicken and that type of thing are less frequent. Everything is up here with there's 4 stores within 5 minutes golf cart ride of where we are right now.
So realistically speaking, you're looking at being up here that if you generally wanted to go into town, you didn't have to.
Yes, yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right, that's good to know.
Absolutely, yeah.
But even
Yeah.
the drive to town, the more you go back and forth, it doesn't seem quite as
Yeah,
long.
it seems to get shorter every time, right?
Yes.
The roads get slightly better
Exactly.
you month after month. And
Yeah.
it's just slowly getting quicker.
And there's always something new to look at.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just put our tunes on and
Yeah.
Good to go.
Enjoy the
Cruise
drive.
into town,
That's
right?
exactly.
All right. So Sapphire Beach, for people who may not be as familiar, is one of the last complexes up north. I mean, the only complex further up north than this is Margaritaville, but that is about 15 miles.
Yeah.
We're at about 10 miles north. So essentially, a lot of people would have this question, and it's a fair question to have. How safe do you guys feel when you're here? I know you guys are living here part-time. How safe do you feel being here?
I feel very safe. They have 24-hour security here, and we always see them walking around in the evening. So I'm not afraid at all.
Not
to
afraid
be this
at all.
far up, no.
No.
Yeah, even the drive up at night, like we frequent town, as you know, in the evenings. You come up at night. Once you're past like the Tres Cocos area, the lighting kind of stops, maybe for about 4 miles. But all up here, they've installed street lights, so it's actually quite bright. And there's now enough like local traffic, with the headlights on your golf carts. You don't feel alone on the road at any given
No.
time. There's always 2 or 3 carts headed in either direction. But we've come back as late after midnight before, and it's still
Yep.
Still pretty safe.
It's still
Yeah.
very safe. Yeah. Now we have to get through the security at the gate at Sapphire at that hour, but he usually recognizes us.
That's great. That's great. How about this is a little bit off of what we had when it comes to Sapphire Beach and overall the San Pedro. You guys, what was your experience when it came to using me as a real estate agent here in Belize? And I mean, this is your chance to if you say I
Oh,
suck,
yeah,
you can
yeah.
say it out in the
That's-
camera
that's
and
an
just
No way.
open door right there. Well, our experience has been
Amazing.
amazing. Yeah, and
Yeah.
all as I can say is to have that experience is to do your research ahead of time, As you know, like I rely strongly on professionals, especially for somebody from North America, used to North American laws and protections. If you're going elsewhere in the world, you have to be mindful of the differences. So, you know, I spoke to a very reliable attorney who gave me free advice. Like, you know, there's no commitment either. And, you know, and then I talked to Keller Williams and again, to go with that professional experience, and everything was explained to me, the pitfalls, what to expect in the process as we were going through. So every time something like that happened, and it does happen, you know, it wasn't you know, whereas if I was back home, I'd be like, oh my, you know, how did this fall through here? Okay, move on to the next one, because, you know, you just take that little bit of extra time to do your homework at the start. But I relying on professionals like yourself, who knows the lay of the land, and building the relationship with that person, I think is the biggest box you need to check, is having a good real estate agent like Job.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
you're also our friend too.
Yeah,
like,
and now, yeah,
yeah, like you're one of
that's
our first friends in Belize, and we hang out.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
the thing. I don't build. I try not to build on just clientele. We always try to build on friendship, right?
Yes,
Right.
yes, yeah.
Were there any major things that you probably found yourself being like, you know, oh, this was a big something that wasn't explained to us, or something that we didn't came across of, or anything of that nature?
No, I don't think so.
Not necessarily. I think just like maybe everyone else on the island who was looking when we were the sargassum hit intense at some times, and you know, we had traveled the Caribbean a lot in our working careers, and you never saw it to this level, but then, you know, you hear on the news, and it's affecting the whole Caribbean. It's a bigger problem. But when we first got here, I thought, oh, you know, is this a San Pedro thing or an ambergris key thing? And again, with proper homework, found out that it wasn't. And then, you know, shortly after the news was breaking from Mexico to Florida. But you know, it's an ocean with ocean things, so you got to expect that, and that was something I was prepared for. You know, but mostly just looking forward to the lack of snow. That can smooth out a lot of bumps. It's not having to deal with snow.
So you exchanged the snow for the sargassum, and it was a worthwhile
Yeah,
exchange.
it was a
Yes,
willing. Yeah, I'd do
definitely.
that choice 100 times. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's always that question of, you know, how is sargasso like, and then I always tell people, well, at the end of the day, Mother Nature is Mother Nature.
That's
and
right.
Mother
That is
Nature will
right.
do what, because I mean, even here, some days I'm pretty sure you have seen it, and I remember telling you, hey, this is not how it always looks,
Yes,
right?
Right.
yes.
But even here, sometimes it can look beautiful, crystal clear
yes.
water for a couple weeks, and then the sargasso comes in, and it's just
It is, and when you
Yep.
consider that people vacationing are just getting that snapshot of that week that they were here, it can be so different week to week that it's, you know, it's unfortunate that it exists, but you know, the world is going to look at it now, and you know, there's programs to combat it, and it'll, you know, hopefully it'll be better, but
It's just a part of life.
it's just
in Belize.
yeah, and then it does. It's so seasonal that, you know, when it's in February, you don't even, it's not here. So
Yeah.
you know, it's just something you have to be aware of in the summer months, or
absolutely
Yeah.
right. In the hotter months is usually when it happens more.
Remember, if you'd like more information on Sapphire Beach, on listings, rental, HOA, and everything that there is to know about Sapphire Beach, there will be a link in the descriptions below labeled Sapphire Beach Information.
Right.
All right, well, guys, I appreciate you guys agreeing to popping up with us.
It was our pleasure.
No
I
problem.
appreciate you very much, and if you wanna be part of the Sapphire Beach community, whether it comes to full-time living, part-time living, bit of both, a hybrid, Sapphire Beach is one of the up-and-coming resorts, in my opinion, for San Pedro.